Matplotlib adding grid lines. To add grid lines to a Matplotlib plot, you can use the grid function. Here's a basic example. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. X equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y equals 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Plt.plot, X, Y. Plt.grid, true. Plt.show. This will add grid lines to the plot with default settings. You can customize grid lines using various parameters. 1 axis, specify which axis to add grid lines to, both X or Y. 2 color, set grid line color. 3 line style, choose grid line style, solid, dashed, etc. 4 line width, control grid line width. Example. Plt.grid, axis equals both, color equals gray, line style equals, line width equals 0.5. This adds gray dashed grid lines to both axes with a width of 0.5 points. Additionally, you can use plt.grid, true, with other functions like plt.axline, or plt.axline, to create custom grid lines. Matplotlib grid lines, enhancing plot readability. Grid lines can significantly improve the readability and interpretability of your Matplotlib plots. They provide a visual framework for understanding data distribution, identifying trends, and making comparisons. Adding grid lines. Basic grid lines. Use plt.grid to add a grid to your plot. Customize grid appearance using keyword arguments. Example. Python. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Plt.plot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, 30, 40. Plt.grid. Plt.show. Customizing grid lines. Control grid color, line style, line width, and axis using keyword arguments. Example. Python. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Plt.plot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, 30, 40. Plt.grid, color equals gray, line style equals dash dash, line width equals 0.5, axis equals y. Plt.show. Grid lines with specific intervals. Use plt.sticks and plt.aticks to set custom tick positions, which will determine grid line intervals. Example. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Plt.plot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, 30, 40. Plt.sticks, 1, 2, 3, 4. Plt.aticks, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. Plt.grid. Plt.show. Best practices for grid lines. Clarity and simplicity. Use grid lines that enhance plot readability without overwhelming the data. Color contrast. Choose a grid color that contrasts well with the plot background and data points. Line style and width. Select a line style and width that are appropriate for your plot and data. Axis alignment. Ensure grid lines are aligned with the x-axis and y-axis tick marks. Contextual relevance. Consider the specific context of your plot and whether grid lines are truly necessary. By effectively using grid lines in Matplotlib, you can create visualizations that are both visually appealing and informative, making it easier for viewers to understand and interpret your data. Matplotlib subplot. Matplotlib subplots, creating multiple plots within a single figure. Subplots in Matplotlib allow you to create multiple plots within a single figure, making it easier to compare different datasets or visualize complex relationships. Creating subplots. Basic subplots. Use plt.subplots to create a figure with multiple subplots. Customize the number of rows, columns, and subplot spacing. Example. Python. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Fig. axs equals plt.subplots, 2, 2. plt.show. Accessing subplots. The axs object returned by plt.subplots is a NumPy array containing subplot axes. Access individual subplots using their indices. Example. Python. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Fig. axs equals plt.subplots, 2, 2. axs 0, 0.plot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, 30, 40. axs 1, 1.plot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 20, 30, 40, 50. plt.show. Customizing subplots. Control subplot spacing, share axes, and other properties using keyword arguments. Example. Python. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Fig. axs equals plt.subplots, 2, 2, share x equals true, share e equals true. plt.subplots underscore adjust, space equals 0.5. plt.show. Best practices for subplots. Clarity and organization, arrange subplots in a logical and visually appealing manner. Consistency, use consistent labeling, formatting, and color schemes across subplots. Efficiency, avoid creating unnecessary subplots or overcrowding a figure. Interactivity, consider using interactive features like zooming and panning to enhance exploration. By effectively using subplots in Matplotlib, you can create complex and informative visualizations that effectively convey your data. Matplotlib subplot is a function that allows you to create multiple plots in a single figure. You can create subplots using the subplot function or the subplots function. Subplot function. plt.subplot, n rows, nCols, index creates a subplot at the specified position. N rows, number of rows in the subplot grid. nCols, number of columns in the subplot grid. Index, index of the subplot, starts from 1. Subplots, function. Fig. axs equals plt.subplots, n rows, nCols creates a figure and a grid of subplots. Fig. The figure object. axs, a 2D array of axes objects. Example. plt.subplot, 2, 2, 1, hashtag create a subplot at position 1. plt.plot, 1, 2, 3. plt.subplot, 2, 2, 2, hashtag create a subplot at position 2. plt.plot, 4, 5, 6. plt.subplot, 2, 2, 3, hashtag create a subplot at position 3. plt.plot, 7, 8, 9. plt.subplot, 2, 2, 4, hashtag create a subplot at position 4. plt.plot, 10, 11, 12. plt.show. Or using subplots. Fig. axs equals plt.subplots, 2, 2. axs 0, 0.plot, 1, 2, 3. axs 0, 1.plot, 4, 5, 6. axs 1, 0.plot, 7, 8, 9. AXS1, 1.plot, 10, 11, 12. PLT.show. Both examples create a 2x2 grid of subplots with different plots in each subplot. Matplotlib scatter. Matplotlib scatter is a type of plot that displays data points as dots or markers in a 2D plane. It's useful for visualizing relationships between two variables. Basic syntax. plt.scatter, x, y. X, array of x coordinates. Y, array of y coordinates. Customization options. Marker, shape of the markers, example O, caret, S. Color, color of the markers. Size, size of the markers. Alpha, transparency of the markers. Label, label for the scatter plot, for legend. Example. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. X equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y equals 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. plt.scatter, x, y, marker equals O, color equals red, size equals 100, alpha equals 0.5, label equals data points. plt.slabel, x-axis. plt.elabel, y-axis. plt.title, scatter plot example. plt.legend. plt.show. This code creates a scatter plot with red circles, labeled data points, and displays a legend. You can also use plt.scatter with additional parameters to create more complex scatter plots, such as C, array of colors for each marker. Map, color map for coloring markers. Vmin, Vmax, range for coloring markers. These options enable you to create colorful and informative scatter plots. Matplotlib scatter plots, visualizing data points. Scatter plots in Matplotlib are a valuable tool for visualizing the relationship between two numerical variables. They are particularly useful for identifying trends. Scatter plots can reveal patterns, correlations, or outliers in data. Comparing variables, you can compare the distribution of two variables and their relationship. Exploring relationships, scatter plots can help you explore nonlinear relationships between variables. Creating scatter plots. Basic scatter plots. Use plt.scatter to create a scatter plot. Specify the x and y coordinates of data points. Example. Python. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. X equals 1, 2, 3, 4. Y equals 10, 20, 30, 40. plt.scatter, x, y. plt.show. Customizing scatter plots. Control marker size, color, shape, and other properties using keyword arguments. Example. Python. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. X equals 1, 2, 3, 4. Y equals 10, 20, 30, 40. plt.scatter, x, y, s equals 100, c equals red, marker equals x. plt.show. Scatter plots with color-coded values. Use the C argument to map a third variable to the color of data points. Example. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. X equals 1, 2, 3, 4. Y equals 10, 20, 30, 40. Colors equals red, green, blue, yellow. plt.scatter, x, y, c equals colors. plt.show. Best practices for scatter plots. Clarity and simplicity. Use clear and concise labels, legends, and titles. Appropriate scale, choose appropriate scales for the X and Y axes. Marker size and color, select marker size and color that are easy to distinguish. Data density, consider the density of your data points and adjust marker size accordingly. Contextual relevance, ensure the scatter plot is relevant to the question you are trying to answer. By effectively using scatter plots in Matplotlib, you can gain valuable insights into your data and communicate your findings effectively. Matplotlib bars. Matplotlib bars refer to the bar plot functionality in Matplotlib, which is used to create bar charts. Here's a basic example. plt.bar, x, height. X, array of x coordinates, bar positions. Height, array of bar heights. Customization options. Width, bar width. Color, bar color. Edge color, bar edge color. Alpha, bar transparency. Label, bar label, for legend. Example. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. X equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Height equals 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. plt.bar, x, height, width equals 0.5, color equals blue, edge color equals black, alpha equals 0.8, label equals data. plt.slabel, x-axis. plt.elabel, y-axis. plt.title, bar plot example. plt.legend. plt.show. This code creates a bar plot with blue bars, black edges, and a legend. You can also create horizontal bar plots, plt.bar, x, width. Stacked bar plots, plt.bar, x, height, bottom equals previous underscore height. Grouped bar plots, plt.bar, x, height, width, align equals edge. These options enable you to create various types of bar plots to suit your data visualization needs. Matplotlib bar plots, visualizing categorical data. Bar plots are a versatile tool in Matplotlib for visualizing categorical data. They are ideal for comparing values across different categories or groups. Creating bar plots. Basic bar plots. Use plt.bar to create a bar plot. Specify the x-axis values, categories, and the corresponding y-axis values, data. Example. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Categories equals Category 1, Category 2, Category 3. Values equals 10, 20, 30. plt.bar, categories, values. plt.show. Horizontal bar plots. Use plt.bar to create horizontal bar plots. Example. Python. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Categories equals Category 1, Category 2, Category 3. Values equals 10, 20, 30. plt.bar, categories, values. plt.show. Stacked bar plots. Use plt.bar with the bottom argument to create stacked bar plots. Specify the starting point for each bar in the stack. Example. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Categories equals Category 1, Category 2, Category 3. Data 1 equals 10, 20, 30. Data 2 equals 5, 15, 25. plt.bar, categories, data 1. plt.bar, categories, data 2, bottom equals data 1. plt.show. Best practices for bar plots. Clarity and simplicity. Use clear and concise labels, legends, and titles. Appropriate scale. Choose an appropriate scale for the y-axis to accurately represent the data. Color scheme. Select a color scheme that is visually appealing and easy to distinguish. Data ordering. Consider the order of categories for better readability. Contextual relevance. Ensure the bar plot is relevant to the question you are trying to answer. By effectively using bar plots in Matplotlib, you can create informative and visually appealing visualizations that effectively communicate your categorical data. Matplotlib histograms. Matplotlib histograms are a type of plot that displays the distribution of data by forming bins and counting the number of data points in each bin. Here's a basic example. plt.hist, x, bins. X, array of data points. Bins, number of bins or bin edges. Customization options. Range, range of data to include in the histogram. Density, normalize the histogram to form a probability density. Color, color of the histogram bars. Edge color, color of the histogram bar edges. Alpha, transparency of the histogram bars. Label, histogram label, for legend. Example. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Data equals 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4. plt.hist, data, bins equals 5, range equals 1, 5, density equals true, color equals blue, edge color equals black, alpha equals 0.8, label equals data. plt.slabel, value. plt.elabel, probability density. plt.title, histogram example. plt.legend. plt.show. This code creates a histogram with 5 bins, normalized to form a probability density, and displays a legend. You can also create multiple histograms, plt.hist, x1, x2, bins. Stacked histograms, plt.hist, x, bins, stacked equals true. Horizontal histograms, plt.hist, x, bins, orientation equals horizontal. These options enable you to create various types of histograms to suit your data visualization needs. Matplotlib histograms, visualizing data distribution. Histograms are a valuable tool in Matplotlib for visualizing the distribution of numerical data. They provide a graphical representation of the frequency of data points within specific intervals or bins. Creating histograms. Basic histograms. Use plt.hist to create a histogram. Specify the data to be plotted. Example. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Data equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. plt.hist, data. plt.show. Customizing histograms. Control the number of bins, color, alpha transparency, and other properties using keyword arguments. Example. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Data equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. plt.hist, data, bins equals 5, color equals blue, alpha equals 0.7. plt.show. Density plots. Use plt.hist, with the density argument set to true to create a density plot. Density plots normalize the histogram to represent the probability density function. Example. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Data equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plt.hist, data, density equals true. Plt.show. Best practices for histograms. Number of bins. Choose an appropriate number of bins to capture the underlying distribution without oversmoothing or undersmoothing. Bin size. Consider the range of your data and the desired level of detail when selecting bin size. Color and transparency. Use colors and transparency that are visually appealing and easy to interpret. Labeling. Use clear and concise labels for the x-axis and y-axis. Contextual relevance. Ensure the histogram is relevant to the question you are trying to answer. By effectively using histograms in Matplotlib, you can gain valuable insights into the distribution of your data and communicate your findings effectively. Matplotlib pie charts. Matplotlib pie charts are a type of plot that displays data as a circular chart divided into sectors, each representing a proportion of the whole. Here's a basic example. Plt.py, data. Data, array of data values. Customization options. Labels, array of sector labels. Colors, array of sector colors. Autopt, format string for sector percentages. Start angle, starting angle of the pie chart. Shadow, add a shadow to the pie chart. Explode, offset certain sectors from the center. Example. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Data equals 25, 30, 20, 25. Labels equals A, B, C, D. Plt.py, data, labels equals labels, autopt equals %1.1f%%, start angle equals 90, shadow equals true, explode equals 0.1, 0, 0, 0. Plt.title, pie chart example. Plt.show. This code creates a pie chart with labeled sectors, percentage values, and a shadow, with one sector offset from the center. You can also create donut charts. Use plt.py with radius and wedge props to create a donut chart. 3D pie charts. Use plt.py with axis to create a 3D pie chart. These options enable you to create various types of pie charts to suit your data visualization needs. Pie charts are a useful tool in Matplotlib for visualizing proportions of categorical data. They are ideal for representing relative contributions of different categories to a whole. Creating pie charts. Basic pie charts. Use plt.py to create a pie chart. Specify the data to be plotted as a sequence of values. Example. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Data equals 10, 20, 30, 40. Plt.py, data. Plt.show. Customizing pie charts. Control labels, colors, explode effect, and other properties using keyword arguments. Example. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Data equals 10, 20, 30, 40. Labels equals category 1, category 2, category 3, category 4. Colors equals red, green, blue, yellow. Explode equals 0, 0.1, 0, 0. Plt.py, data, labels equals labels, colors equals colors, explode equals explode. Plt.show. Adding a legend. Use plt.legend to add a legend to your pie chart. Example. Python. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Data equals 10, 20, 30, 40. Labels equals category 1, category 2, Category 3, Category 4. Plt.py, data, labels equals labels. Plt.legend. Plt.show. Best practices for pie charts. Limit categories. Pie charts are most effective for visualizing a small number of categories. Avoid too many categories. If you have too many categories, consider using a bar chart or a stacked bar chart. Use percentages. Label each slice with the corresponding percentage for better readability. Explode slices. Highlight important categories by exploding slices. Color scheme. Choose a color scheme that is visually appealing and easy to distinguish. By effectively using pie charts in Matplotlib, you can create informative and visually appealing visualizations that effectively communicate the proportions of categorical data.